Lady, the problem isn't in my pants. Mex-Men.
He's trying to get down to the music, but like he's rocking his whole body. It's so fucking strange.
And they call that the washing machine.
I guess so.
It's like the dolphin you ever see.
But he makes zazzy beats. It's EDM jazz. It's the weirdest thing. Like he's impromptu making everything in the moment, and I guess it's supposed to be good.
Is it not?
Well, the crowds would make you think that it is, but your ears, on the other hand.
I mean, we're old though.
It's the ecstasy that's making it sound good.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's definitely not for us.
Yeah,
we're too old for
different tastes.
Yeah,
different personalities.
I think it's just taste. I'm not calling myself old.
You're older than I am, and I'm old.
I refuse.
You're one more year, and you're officially old.
No, I need at least 20.
20?
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to this issue of Mex-Men. I'm Tony.
I'm Justin.
I'm Devin.
And we're all old.
Yeah.
No.
It's so very different.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Speaking of different, since we were talking about the Ninja Turtles personality types, I've been kind of obsessed with thinking about like what Ninja Turtle each Marvel character is.
Character?
Yeah.
Yeah. Continuing last week's streak of us not being able to talk,
yeah.
because I'm sure it's gonna hit me next.
Character. Yeah.
Yeah, we started with the Reifeld.
Yeah, Rob Reifeld.
Earlier, yeah.
So yeah, what were your findings on that then?
Oh, that I'm not sure what Spider-Man is.
He's Michelangelo.
Or is he Leonardo?
I mean, everybody's
is he a
little
Leonardo trying to be Michelangelo when he's behind the mask? Or
yes,
is he Michelangelo who acts a little Leonardo-ish?
I mean, he's not...
Or is he Donatello?
He doesn't keep his appointments enough to actually be Leonardo.
He's definitely Raphael with the symbiote.
Everybody's Raphael with the symbiote.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, Deadpool's not.
I mean, with the amount of time I see him, like, swinging and eating pizza, like, I mean, I know they all eat pizza, but, like, Michelangelo's, like, the one who does shit and eats pizza.
I'm just saying, I think he's probably the one Marvel character who hits all four spectrums.
Yeah. Because being a Ninja Turtle is a spectrum.
Yeah.
So this week we're going to be covering Battle of the Atom Part 1. So it will be issue 1 through 5.
No, well, chapter 1 through 5, but in reality it is Battle of the Atom issue 1, and then Uncanny, well, no, All New X-Men issue 16.
We have this conversation.
X-Men issue 5.
We're doing this right now.
Yep. Uncanny X-Men 12 and Wolverine the X-Men 36. It matters. Because it's not like, unless you get a trade, it's not like you can just get the entire event usually. Like, at least with the Marvel Unlimited app, you have to specifically go to each book and find...
Not a sponsor.
...their corresponding. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, so if you want to get those on Marvel Unlimited, you're going to have to rewind this.
And if you're Marvel and you want to sponsor us, we'd be very happy with that.
I don't think they do those types of things.
They could.
They should start.
With that attitude, they're not going to.
I think they don't... They won't like how hyper-focused we are on Scott's penis, I think.
I think that's just you.
You got a lot to say?
That I think that we're too hyper-focused on it? I do.
No, the best part of this is most of the talking about Scott's penis we've done has been off the air. So...
No, it really hasn't. I mean... Not literally about his penis, but about, like, who wants to bang him or who he's banging. Okay. Or, you know.
So you're talking about, like, girth, length?
No.
Yeah, we save those conversations for off the air.
No, I'm not talking
because everybody knows that Scott is slanging dick.
Or is he? Because his name is Slim, and he's rarely drawn slim.
Yeah, skinny dudes, usually giant wang, right?
It's like proportionally looks huge.
He's like a greyhound. Just all ribs and dick. Also coming to McDonald's. Ribs and dick.
Just the UK ones.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like what your Tinder date gets.
Okay, yeah. So Battle of the Atom. It starts with Illyana already being in the future, sort of giving a note to Scott or something. That part's weird, like the internal monologue that's going on. where she's talking about, like, she knows she's breaking a rule with the whole time-space thing, but she just had to see what the future was.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
She just wanted to try it out.
I'm wondering if this is going to be called back on in 6. Because now that 5 happens and it kind of calls back to this, but nothing is set up the letter.
Yeah. Well, technically it's 4, where
That he
she's
gets-
like, yeah, where she mentions she's seen the future X-Men
Yeah.
before, but she comes back in 5, which I guess we'll cover in sequence.
No, let's let's do it like Donald Trump eating a pizza in the 90s. We just start backwards and make our way
And
towards
use
the
forks.
tip. Yes.
Okay, so
Stuffed crust.
Ilyana is in the future, and she sees this future version of the X-Men fighting a bunch of Sentinels. And then it goes all the way back to the present, where the past X-Men are in the lunchroom.
Sounded like you
first
said
half.
Sex-Men.
Past X-Men.
That's our next podcast.
the Sex-Men?
Yeah. That one will also, we won't be able to get women to do that podcast with us either.
So, yeah, Jean is chastising Bobby because she read his mind and knows that he wants to start a food fight. And it's like, that's a bad idea. And then Kitty's all like, oh, it's just a food fight. You think we haven't had food fights before? And then Jean's like, oh, that's beside the point. I thought, like, you know, you wouldn't want one right now.
She's like, we can do it.
It's a weird conversation.
Well, yeah, because she just phases.
Yeah.
She's like
Yeah.
sitting
She
there
doesn't-
eating and everything's going through her.
She forgets that she's going to have to be responsible for at least getting somebody to clean that up.
No, because she already established to Jean, like, I don't even clean my own room.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
She doesn't clean
care.
shit.
I like that Dupe is cafeteria lunch lady.
Yeah.
He's
And we-
serving cookies.
And we all know that Jean Grey does not respect food.
Yeah, no. She learned from Dupe.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I bet he seasons his food.
It probably does.
And so there ends up being like a blip on Cerebro where like there's a large, like a, not Omega level mutant, but a powerful mutant manifestation going on that they need to go address.
Yeah. And their phone wolves. It's a dragon and it says wolf
Lockheed.
It's Lockheed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
barks.
Yeah. Because he's like her dog or whatever. I don't know. It's a weird relationship, those two.
It's like your voice changes in relation to what you are to that person.
Yeah. So anyway, they get in the Blackbird and they're headed to what looks like Pink. If Pink was like a mutant monster maker
If
person.
Pink was the son of Magneto.
Yeah.
Pink was the son of Magneto. Just his son with
'Cause it is
giant
weird,
tits.
'cause that is a pretty mannish looking woman.
She's,
Ginger,
like,
with
buff.
the face. Yeah.
But with big
Buff.
tits.
But I mean, in some of the panels too, her face though.
You should totally
is,
make
like,
Buff with big
masculine.
tits your next album.
She got the white hair though, like she's,
Yeah.
you know, son
like,
of Magneto.
Yeah.
Son of M.
Yeah, and
But, and like a
Iceman
random-
totally wants to bang her.
a
Oh.
random star. On that she's
We're getting
Spanish.
hints. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and she paints that star on her face.
Thought it was a
Right.
tattoo.
But it looked like she did it to herself, right? In that panel. I thought she put it on herself when she was in jail.
Maybe she tattooed herself.
It's one of those sticky tattoos. You just apply the water.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because it is too perfectly sequential for it to be like. Because how's she seeing it? You know, if she's tattooing it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a temporary tattoo.
They just got henna tats in prison. But anyway, it's a lady who's like in a weird leotard-looking thing riding a dragon dinosaur.
But she just got her
monster.
powers. She's got a uniform on. Like what?
Yeah.
If you've ever seen the movie Heavy Metal, this is basically just that movie.
This girl just went to a wrestling audition. Like for just
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's
looks
in glow.
Like a professional wrestler. Yeah. So they're trying to stop her, and then Sentinels start attacking, and then they got to fight Sentinels, and like Jean reads her mind, and it's funny because it looked like the artists went out of their way to have like this complex backstory to this character of like she was sort of abused, and so she became like an angry person and started doing crime, and Jean
Crime did her.
yeah, and Jean projects that out to all the X-Men, so they all are caught up. And it's like Scott right away is like, "Oh, career criminal, cool. Let's beat the fuck out of her."
Couldn't have guessed that one, Gene.
Like, all the nuance of the panels that were just drawn is completely gone. We're just like, no, bad guy. Good to know. I mean, we couldn't have guessed from the monsters in the smashing, but
Well, it just showed that she was, because they didn't show any panels of her doing anything good. She was just beating people up. She's beating up kids at school, robbing a bank.
Yeah.
I like that she's reading Liberty Meadows, though, as a kid, because that's a Frank Cho book, and he drew the book.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's like,
I plan on doing
call back
a
to
similar
myself.
thing. Yeah.
And she's getting that tattaoo, like, it's a real tattoo, guys. Not a
Oh,
sticker.
is it a tattoo?
Yeah.
Did you go back and check?
Yeah. Well, he's
Yeah,
checking currently.
I'm looking at it right
He's
now.
looking at it, yeah.
Is it like an electric needle, or is she like hammering?
It's somebody else with the needle.
Ah,
Oh, okay. So I'm
See,
just
she didn't need a
remembering
mirror.
incorrectly. What?
she didn't need a mirror.
No. Anyway, Sentinels attack, and
Sweet transition.
yeah,
It's classic, you could say.
and they're being kind of overwhelmed by the Sentinels, and this is probably one of the only times where the phrase "to me, my X-Men" kind of makes sense, because she actually needs the X-Men. Kitty Pryde needs the X-Men to come to her so she can phase them all, because she's like, they're gonna all blast us right now, and for some reason Scott's like, I can take them. He's like, no, you really can't.
I
Get
got
over here."
this. Giant killer robots designed to kill us. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of stupid stuff happened with Scott right here just to get to what we're going to get to.
Yeah.
Because he's making some dumb decisions.
Yeah. But, well, sort of, because he wants to protect the people that are around, and Kitty's like, no, we got to protect ourselves because we can't save them all right now. So it's sort of that, like, well, what would you, because it comes up later with Wolverine where he's like, what would you have done in my place? Because anyone who's like a hero would have done the heroic thing. But so she gets them all together, and there's a giant blast by all these Sentinels, and they survive it. But then in the aftermath, there's like a mom and her kid, and they're like pinned by a dumpster. And so Scott right away wants to go and help them. Oh, actually, right before this, the Uncanny X-Men show up, and older Scott like blasts the shit out of most of the Sentinels, and they take them out. Then Scott goes to save the woman pinned by the dumpster, and a detached Sentinel head just shoots a optic blast, which is like sort of fuck you.
Yeah. No, you had it right the first time. They show up after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I think he gets hit again after they show up.
It wasn't really dumb decisions by his part, but when he said, like, you guys go, I'll distract them. That
Okay,
was dumb. Like,
yeah.
you're just going to get blasted and die.
And also, the noise, the onomatopoeia that they use for the Sentinel attacking Scott the first time is fashoom, or depending on how you read it, F-ass whom.
Okay. Yeah, so Scott gets hit again after they have
It's like you said Scott. I turned to...
No, yeah.
Or
Her
she's
yelling
screaming Scott.
Yeah, Jean like screams and runs to his side, and there's sort of like this panic because it's like a serious hit this time, and older Scott just suddenly vanishes. So they have Triage come and heal Scott, younger Scott, and sort of like there's this whole like, did he bring him back to life, or was younger Scott just like on the brink of death thing?
Yeah.
I guess they don't want to commit to whether or not Triage is that powerful. But he definitely, in his own mind, is like, I just brought a guy back from the dead, and is like kind of freaked out by it.
Scott's like, that's probably in a coma.
Yeah.
But I like that, like, they meet on the battlefield with, like, Scott and Kitty, and they're, like, they're not all pissy with each other. They're, like, they kind of have their remarks, but they're kind of glad to see each other in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't dissing him or anything like that.
Yeah.
They're warmer to each other, but also they're in the middle of saving them, so it's kind of, it would be weird if she was being an asshole while they were definitely, yeah.
How dare you?
Because there was a little, like, tongue-in-cheek, hey, so you're bringing green X-Men into the field, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, I remember me at this time was barely trained, and you're bringing them to the field, and like, well, it was supposed to be just a reconnaissance mission. But before they left, while they were at Cerebro, she was talking about how, like, powerful the mutant was, so they knew there was going to be a fight. They just didn't know there were going to be a bunch of Sentinels. So Triage saves Scott, and then it cuts to the young X-Men, the first class, back at the Jean Grey school, and Wolverine's X-Men are basically like, you're going back home now. We're not doing this anymore. That could have disrupted all of space and time when Scott died, so and that was stupid in the first place, and that's when Scott's like, well, what would you have done? Like, you would have done the exact same thing, and I'm saying, like, because there's this whole rift now where it's they want to send the young X-Men back because it's now more real to them, the consequences of if anything happens to them.
Yeah, because Scott straight up disappears when young Scott dies.
Yeah.
And, like, when he pops back in, he's like, whoa, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
I just ceased to exist for a second.
Yeah, but then he's over it pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's cool with it.
Yeah.
Because, Gene.
Because later Triage is still freaked out, and he's like, "Hey, man, the past is the past.
Yeah.
You gotta let some shit go."
It's like, hey, you're freaked out. I died. I didn't even die. I ceased to exist. And you don't see me crying.
So, but the younger X-Men are like, "Hey, what happened to being able to choose your own destiny and like fighting for the freedom to do what you want? And we don't want to leave until we know that the future is straight, like that it's a place that like we've accomplished our goal." Because we've come to a future where we find out it's the exact opposite, that we accomplished nothing, and Scarlet Witch is an Avenger and what have you.
Yeah, the person responsible for killing off our species is seen as one of the world's greatest heroes.
Yeah.
Seems kind of weird to me that they wouldn't just go back, though. It's a dumb decision. What's happening over there in their time? Like, they could be screwing everything up.
No, I think the implication is always they go back to the time where they...
Oh, yeah, because they can just go
Yeah,
back.
so there is no real time where they're not there.
Yeah,
Makes
because
sense.
of time travel, they can always just come back right to where they left off.
Although they do address that, too. Like, I think some historical things start changing, like, later on in, like, a future arc, and then they kind of go back.
Yeah, and I know they try to take them back the first time, and they see an X-Men team already there, and they think that the past just continued without them, or like they couldn't find the original dimension,
Yeah.
but it turned out to be an evil team disguising themselves as the X-Men to trick the first class.
You know what? We should probably wait until we get to that arc now that I'm
Spoilers.
thinking about it.
We're not covering that arc, at least for a long time. That's all new X-Men.
Yeah. We're covering all new X-Men.
When?
Right now.
No, that's all new.
This
That's
is an issue of...
not. That's Hopeless is all new X-Men.
X-Men Blue, you're talking about?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, no, not X-Men Blue.
Oh,
Before that was Hopeless is all new.
With ID and stuff? Is that far ahead?
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be even further. It might be up to Blue, but it's at least at Hopeless's X-Men.
Okay. Yeah, so anyway, there's a whole rift of whether or not they're going to go back, and they still have to find Angel before they can even send them back. And while they're having this argument, the time machine box thing that they would have gone in starts to glow, and they're like, "What's going on?" And Beast is like, "Someone's accessing the time machine," and it's a future version of the X-Men travel back in time. And they're like, "Oh, my stars and garters."
Oh,
So
my
it's not.
stars.
Oh, I guess we'll get to that, but it's dialogue, so it's not that important. But Rachel says that's not the Kitty from her future, but she is dressed exactly like that Kitty. Like
Yeah.
the Days of Future Past Kitty, she's got the exact uniform on and everything.
Well, they want it to seem like the future's an apocalyptic hellscape, so
So she
that's the Kitty from the
went there and
apocalyptic
pulled it out of the
hellscape.
chest or something.
It is weird paralleling, too, that Kitty is like, my future's so much worse than the one you've seen, but like, no.
So then chapter 2 is then all new X-Men 16. And it starts actually with the Uncanny X-Men kind of reviewing footage of what just happened, because that's what they've been doing. They've been just going to places and then getting attacked by Sentinels. So for them, this was nothing new. It's like, all right, so let's
It's
see
old hat
what...
at this point.
Yeah, let's see what we did here, what you did wrong, what you did right. And I think Ava is like, it's so weird. Like, I know we were there, but like, it's freaky to even see like us fighting giant robots.
Also, they draw Hijack like he's a young Tony Stark.
Yeah, kind of.
Like an Asian Tony Stark, maybe.
I can't tell. Is he Asian or is he Hispanic?
He's
It's
Asian.
probably like Filipino.
Yeah.
The Hispanic of Asians.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, anyway, that's when Scott goes to Triage, because Triage is still freaked out. He's like, "Hey, bud, so I never thanked you for saving my life, so thank you." And he's all like, "I brought you back from the dead." It's like, "Well, we don't know if you're that great. Come on now."
Well, we should probably say who's on this futuristic X-Men team.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, they
they
didn't
get
actually
into that
say
next. Yeah, they
Who
say
it
that
is. You
next.
just see the picture of him.
So anyway, because Triage is like, "Are you even remotely aware of how crazy and dysfunctional all this is?" And he's like, "Trust me, I'm aware." And then it cuts back to Wolverine's X-Men, and I guess Storm's X-Men. 'Cause technically, they're like the same team but separate teams.
Yeah, I mean, they say at points they say it's Wolverine's X-Men, and at points they say it's Storm's. But I mean, we know who's running the show. It's Kitty.
But is she? Because she gets benched
For all new?
right away.
Yes.
Well, yeah, for all
Well,
new.
they try to bench her.
Yeah, and she's not taking that.
Yeah, so then it's basically X-Men squared. There's all these X-Men around. And then, frankly, Beast cubed. Way too many Beasts.
Let's. They have the
All
two
are
teams.
just into each other, by the way. They're all just like so fascinated with themselves.
Yeah. You can tell he's full of himself. All of himself.
Yes.
'Cause they have the two teams there. What's it? Storm's X-Men team and Wolverine and the X-Men. So they're all in this.
Yeah. And then I think Bendis doesn't like Beast because he's constantly writing Beast to be
get the
such an asshole.
I mean, he's just writing Beast as Beast, being true to the character.
No, I know, but like Beast really is like no one's really blaming Beast except for like a few key characters, but he really is like the reason so many things go fucking terrible. And every time Beast is talking, he's just so self-absorbed.
Yeah.
So anyway, the X-Men are all like trying to figure out what's going on, and the future X-Men, their roster is a Ice Hulk that they're all just assuming is Bobby, but don't know why it's like just like a mindless Hulk. Was it Molly?
Molly Hayes.
Yeah,
Molly
from,
Hayes the
Runaways.
Which I like that every time someone brings her up, like, she's vaguely familiar. Who is that? And they're like, oh, that's Molly Hayes from The Runaways.
Yeah.
Like, they really just spoon feed it to you. There's Xavier, who is the grandson of Xavier, Kate Pride, so, you know, Kitty from the future,
Yeah.
where she's Kate now.
It's a different future, so maybe she goes by Catherine, or
No, she goes by Kate.
does she?
Yeah, they call her Kate. There's Deadpool. So, Deadpool, which is weird, too, because, like,
AKA Wade Wilson.
he's wearing sunglasses, but also has the black spots over his eyes, which were part of a mask. So, like, are those painted? Like, I don't know what's up with the black spots.
I think it's like a little bit of a dig at the X-Men Origins movie where they just put the triangles on his face.
Yeah.
It's a sticker tattoo.
Yeah, he went to the same person.
But then he's also wearing sunglasses over them.
Maybe he tattooed them on and realized they look bad.
Maybe. Yeah, so it's them.
Old Beast.
And then Old Beast, who's got, like, one horn and, like, a hobbled leg or
He's
whatever.
got a cane.
Yeah. He's got issues.
Oh yeah, Zorn is there.
Zorn.
Lady Zorn.
So, yeah, they're all talking, and then they suddenly realize, like, because they're like, hey, the future X-Men, like, hey, this is the moment where you guys all make a terrible mistake, and they don't go home, and they need to go home because the future is an apocalyptic nightmare. So,
Yeah.
send them home now.
And with that one sentence, we know whose idea it was to go into the past.
Past, especially dressed like that.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, this totally worked to bring them to the future when I was like a middle-aged me. This is going to work to get them to go back to the past.
We say middle-aged, but I think he's like late 20s in this. He's our age.
Beast?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a weird... Yeah, I guess so,
Wait, who is?
technically.
Beast.
Older Beast.
Sliding
Middle Beast?
timescale.
Yeah,
Beast,
middle
yeah.
Beast, he would
Middle
be
Beast
like
would be the-
maybe early 30s at the
He's
oldest.
got to be in his 30s. Because Kitty's in her 20s now.
Yeah, but like him and Scott are like the same age, and Scott like 4 or 5 years before this was like 23.
But we're speaking from 7 years in the future to when this was printed. When this was printed, they were okay with the ages being a bit higher. That's why Scott's constantly being referenced as like 40.
Oh,
So they've been peeling that
Yeah.
back. And so
But
from our
before-
perspective now, they have to be way younger.
Before this, though, they pointed out that Scott was like 25, like a couple years before this came out.
A couple years? In what?
I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was sometime between Morrison and this.
Well, Morrison was more than a couple years.
'Cause
Morrison was early 2000s.
Somebody tells Scott that he's a 25-year-old who acts like a 40-year-old.
Okay, but that's still early 2000s.
No, it was after.
Oh, you said before Morrison.
No, after Morrison.
So much is after Morrison. Whedon?
No, it was after, but just
All right, whatever.
I think it's weird, though. I got to point out that Beast was a cat, and now he's got a horn, so now he's a ram. What the fuck is going on
Well,
here?
because he became an ape.
he's going through the whole Zodiac.
Yeah.
He's going to try everything?
Yeah, he's gonna be like I don't know, is it like a pig at some point?
He's just going to get a
He's a
big
boar.
nose?
I can't wait till he's a dragon. That's gonna be cool.
I wonder if he rams people with that thing.
No, it seems
But
pretty limp.
only on that one side, though.
Anyway, they notice while they're having this discussion about the X-Men going back that Jean and Scott are missing, and Jean and Scott actually take off in the Blackbird, and then they do this like double back to all the pages where they're having the future X-Men and the present X-Men are having this conversation about the past X-Men going back to the past. Jean is realizing she can't read any of their thoughts and that they're actively blocking her from seeing their thoughts. And so she's like, Beast, which this is interesting because the issue right before this, there's that connection between Jean and Beast where she's like, all right, I'm going to pick Beast because, you know, he's attractive enough and, and he really likes me. And if it's different from Scott, then totally, you know, it has to change everything. And it's so funny that, like, she's trying to tell him, like, her concerns of, like, they're blocking their thoughts from me and I can't tell what's going on and I don't think they're being honest. And he's just like, shut up, I'm talking. But, like, his future self, like I need to hear this because I'm talking right now.
This is so interesting.
Everything I will ever say is the most important thing.
And there are 3 of me right now.
Yeah, he literally does say something like, "This something very important is happening right now."
Yeah.
It's just him talking.
Like, back off.
In the original version of this book, before they made edits, there's a threesome that goes on between all of them.
He's like, shh, back off, I'm so close to coming, shut up.
They're clapping each other's hairy cheeks.
That happens off panel.
He's somehow the bear and the twink and, I don't know, like, what's an old gay person?
Sugar daddy,
phrase?
I don't know.
I guess, I don't know.
A queen?
A queen?
I think so.
I thought
don't
it
know.
was, I thought it was a trans thing.
We're way too straight.
I was about to say, we're not
trying to
qualified.
figure out all this.
I feel disrespectful because we're not qualified to have this conversation.
How are
Yeah.
we? I don't think it's
No, just because
disrespectful.
I'm talking about something I don't know. I don't know
Oh.
the terms. Not like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that pretext right there is enough to be like, okay, and then...
They're clapping hairy cheeks. That's what we're getting at.
Yeah, well, one
Long
of
story
those
short.
You gonna find out why I call me Beast.
Ugh.
Did you picture it? That's the sound of a man who pictured that.
Yeah, they're all trying to be top.
I think middle beast would be laying it down.
They go in order of age.
Anyway, so she's like, she can't get Beast to listen to her, so she's just like, Scott, and he's like, I'm in. Like, right away.
Let's do it.
He's like, you said something to do it, jump?
I agree.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I can't get Beast to do it, so I guess I'll settle for Scott.
Yeah, he's just so eager.
He's like, dope, let's do it. He switches too, like right after that. He's like, we're dating now, right?
Yeah.
He does later, too. He's like, that's my girlfriend.
Yeah, that he's like,
he says
get away from my wife.
But it is weird because, yeah, Jean was saying all that shit like she was not digging Scott at all last time. And then, like, when she was so worried he was hurt and stuff, too. So it's like the tone completely shifted between them two.
Yeah, and they escape because there's a fight that Jean starts because she forces Wolverine to pop his claws, and then the future X-Men are provoked and they fight. But this is one of the things I think is stupid. Wolverine's always popping his claws. So
Like,
how are
oh,
you
sorry, they just slipped out.
And he even says, it's not me. And then they fight.
Yeah, fucking kill him.
Yeah. The Ice Hulk. I like when Wolverine pops his claws, the Ice Hulk looks astonished. He's got this look on his face, just wide mouth.
I thought that it was so obvious, but it does just become a big fight. In a sense, there's not a lot to cover in these books because so many of the pages are just big old fight scenes. So
Like
it's
that-
great to watch, but...
Yeah. Both Beasts were worried about the lab. Old
Yeah.
Beast's like, not in here. Young Beast, not in the lab.
That's all they care about is that damn lab.
Themselves and the lab.
Yeah. And then Rachel shows up and, like, because the fighting dies down and Wolverine emerges from some rubble and he's like, I was trying to say I did not pop my claws. It wasn't me. Someone else did it. And they're like, oh, makes sense. Jean's not here. Neither is Scott. Okay.
But also she is.
Yeah. Because Rachel shows up and she's like, you with the fucking Zorn mask. Like, how dare you wear that here knowing what that means to us? Like, especially like in this place. And it's like, oh, well, I need it because I'm Jean Grey.
Yeah. It's like
And then kisses her, which was really weird.
for
Like,
some reason
yeah,
it's a
I don't know
Darth
you.
Vader mask.
Oh, how that she takes it off, yeah.
I can only survive for a couple minutes without my mask.
Chapter 3 is X-Men issue 5. And it explains the mask. So like Jean quickly wants to put the mask back on because she's like, my powers have gotten so strong over time that
Yeah, that's false.
I need. I know.
Fake news.
That I need this to sort of contain it. So she puts the mask back on. And then they're like, well, how are we going to catch the X-Men? Well, not the X. Well, I guess they are the X-Men. But how are we going to catch Jean and Scott because they took our only Blackbird? Which doesn't make sense because they seem to have so many teams always off in a Blackbird.
Yeah, because, well...
You'd think they'd at least have 3.
And also, like, they have the hangar, right?
Uh-huh.
And then they have what they end up showing. There's another X-Wing under the hangar. But also, there's the one under the tennis court and the one under the basketball court and the food court. Everything has, like, a plane underneath
And
it.
there's the little ship that later Rachel and Kitty are in. I forget what they call
Hummingbird.
it. The Hummingbird. Yeah.
That's just like the Fantastic Car, basically.
Yeah.
It does look like the Fantastic Car. Anyway, older Beast is like, I remember at this time, me were working on a prototype of a thing.
Yeah.
And they kind of, there's this big build-up to what it's going to be. And it's just a Blackbird.
Yeah.
Not painted yet.
Yeah, he's like, oh, my greatest thing, like his greatest invention.
Also, that'd have been great at this, if at this point he points at the young Beast and is like, also, you're pretty much done with Jean from this point on.
Yeah, that moment where you thought more about your use than her, she broke it off.
Yeah, good.
But it was worth it, right? Because me times 3.
Yeah, he basically traded Jean for another version of himself.
He was so excited about
He
it.
broke up with her for himself.
But there's 2 more of me.
So, Jean and Scott, they had parked the Blackbird on a random beach and just ran off because they figured they would track the whatever, the GPS of the Blackbird to wherever they were going anyway. And then they find a random clothesline of clothes
Because they figure they
steal.
also have trackers in their clothes.
Yeah. So they take their uniforms off and put on these random clothes that always seem to fit and be the right colors for the schemes of the characters because Jean's putting on a green shirt and stuff. And then Scott falls and then pulls the curtain on Jean. Or sort of sees her almost naked, but she covers up right in time.
Yeah, he's like, whoops,
Yeah.
my bad.
But then she's seeing him shirtless and is kind of blushing in a close up. So
Also, he, the second, because she says, is that your idea of making a move, Summers? He's back to hiding his boner.
yeah,
Because he turns his back
Yeah,
and is
so
trying to get
fast,
his pants
yeah.
up. So he's like, sorry, no, I wasn't doing anything.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a cute scene.
Yeah,
it's funny trying to
basically-
see him get his pants on too. For some reason, for a man with geometry powers, he can't seem to get his damn pants on.
Because that fucking swinging dick that we were
Rager
talking
was
about,
just-
hard to fit in his pants. But as soon as he changes his shirt, she's starting to steal a look of him.
Yeah. And in 2 pages, they basically undo that entire issue of her and Beast.
It's multiple issues. The ones with her and Beast, and the other one where she was shitting on Cyclops. Don't even talk to me.
Well, yeah, because she does say that later. Is I'm so happy you listened to me. When they were in the Blackbird.
Spot on, Jean Grey.
Yeah, I'm so
I love
happy.
her.
I'm so
Jean
happy
Grey
you
voice.
listened to me, especially since I've been such a dick to you. And that was the only reference. Is okay. So all that stuff Bendis had laid down, just glossing over it.
Gone.
Yeah. Well, actually, he just glossed over because that was an all new. So he was
Well,
just
Scott was just waiting on his heel or his toes, waiting for Jean.
yeah.
He seemed to have planned their whole escape out because he just had one of Wolverine's motorcycles.
No, I think he stole.
No,
somebody else's.
yeah, it's just someone else's because they were we got to figure out how we're gonna go. He's I found our way out of here. And
I
had
I
somebody
feel like
valet
he,
it there.
I feel like he stole a bunch of motorcycles and has planted them around in different places
No.
for escape. I bet you anything there's a little bit of money in somewhere in that.
in those
in
pants
those
pockets.
they just happened to fly to one of Wolverine's houses.
Yeah, it's a roll. It's just a wad of cash in there.
With one of his families that you don't know about.
Oh, also, the Cerebro spike. It's something that Xavier, his grandson, obviously, he, it's a pill that he ingests, the Cerebro spike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting that they just
It was
made
cool.
it capsulized and then like it activates and then his brain becomes like a computer, like a projected.
Wonder for how long? Did it say how long?
Not necessary. I don't
Forever.
think so. Like
Until
he just,
he poops it out.
yeah.
He had to announce it though. He's like, I'm not taking drugs. This is a cerebro spike.
I bet it's like instead of like how technology would actually work, it's more like Osmosis Jones, where they take the
yeah.
pill and now just a pill guy exists within him.
I feel like it's a mushroom. He's like, this will expand my mind.
Oh man.
Oh, speaking of which, everyone should know that in Osmosis Jones, there's a part in a scene where there's a statue of a sperm, and it says "Our Founder." So that's pretty great.
Classic.
But anyway, it is interesting the way the cerebral spike works because then when the globe that Cerebro often shows in like a hologram form just sort of appears around Xavier's head, and he's able to interface with it.
He
And
does
it
look like he's
seems-
tripping balls during that part.
Yeah, and then it seems that Zorn, Jean Grey, is able to like help him like facilitate and harness the use of it. So I mean, it's an interesting take.
Yeah, it's better than them having another helmet that they changed the name of a little bit, like Cerebra or Sideburno or Cerebro.
Yeah. So they're on the bike, and I think there's a bit more of the whole like thank you for believing in me thing. But then she's also like, hey, I need you to stop asking me, do they know where we are yet? Because I'm trying to stop them from knowing where we are. Because she's actively blocking them psychically. Lots of just psychic blocks in these books. Like just deciding when psychic powers are advantageous and when they're not.
But a little bit before that, Kitty and Rachel are just eating cold Chinese food.
A lot of
Yeah,
cold Chinese food.
a fuck ton of cold
Yeah.
Chinese food. It's clear that they ordered the food for everybody like the day before, and
Well, technically, them riding on the motorcycle cuts it in between. That's in between them on the motorcycle. But yeah, they're because they get benched.
Yeah.
Wolverine's team and the future team are like Rachel, Kitty, Young X-Men. You stay here
In case they come back.
in case they come back. But in reality, it's like in the X-Men books, Rachel and Storm are butting heads, so she wants her kind of benched, and Kitty and them are kind of butting heads too, and they want her benched, and they don't want the Young X-Men involved in anything.
yeah, they kind of set it up just so they have more control of just grabbing the young
Yeah.
X-Men and sending them back.
Yeah, Storm seems pretty rude in these books.
She kind of is a lot,
Yeah.
especially when we got in the whole like AVX stuff with her and Scott.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember how she was, if she was written that way in the X-Men books.
Yeah,
Like
because a lot of the
overbearing?
stuff that we covered pre-AVX didn't have Storm in it.
No, in the all-female X-Men book going on at this time.
Oh yeah. Well, during that Utopia period, she's in the books a lot. We just didn't cover the main Uncanny run, and we didn't cover
The only thing we
main
really
X-Men
covered
run.
with her in it was what was it?
Second Coming.
Yeah, Second Coming, and that's just her like yelling at Cyclops for X-Force.
Yeah.
So well, at some point we'll have to cover an arc that really like should like writes her well, because we haven't done anything that does a good job of showing her.
She was real good in some old Claremont stuff.
Yeah, we'll cover.
We'll cover that, yeah.
Yeah, back to not being able to talk.
Donald Clover it.
Yep. So anyway, they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do while they're on the bike, and Jean's like, "Well, I got an idea, but you're not gonna like it." And then, so she reaches out psychically, but to do that, she's no longer telepathically blocking Zorn and Xavier. So they're like, "Oh, well, we know where they are, and they're just 3 miles up the road, so we'll be there in 3 minutes or whatever." And yeah, pretty soon they're pinned down by 2 blackbirds now. So I
Yeah.
thought that was weird.
Yeah,
That means like because initially like they land when they find the blackbird, and so they're just like, all right, well let's split the team up and just
Oh, so they
fly in
picked
2.
up the
Yeah, they
blackbird.
picked
Yeah.
up the blackbird. Yeah,
Well, yeah, they can't just leave it there. They said it was going to get picked up by the authorities.
they are authorities though.
Oh, legal authorities.
No, not that team of X-Men.
No, I think they're surprised it wasn't picked up by the authorities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if they leave it there, probably will be picked up by the authorities.
Yeah,
because the
they took
authorities
it.
just pick up jets.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
They
don't.
just, they just
That's
call
not
it
a
tow
landing
truck.
zone. The beach, you can't land a jet on the beach.
Yeah, it's pretty illegal.
I'm just saying, like, can you imagine a tow truck actually towing a jet from a beach?
Probably take a while.
Like, they're equipped to do that?
I think more of it would be like S.H.I.E.L.D. coming in with some type of helicarrier.
Be more like some
carrying
dude
it off.
smoking a joint in there.
He just takes it for a joyride. That was a real worry, was just teenagers taking it
Well,
again.
Yeah.
you got some guys hanging on the beach. You're like, oh, there's a jet here. And next thing you know, the whole thing smells like weed.
Anyway,
It already did from Scott and Jade.
they're
You know how much he likes green.
they're cornered by the future X-Men and Wolverine's X-Men, and Jean's like, all right, well, I guess this is it. We just got to give up. And Scott's like, no, we're not giving up. We're finishing our conversation, because he was actually saying, like, so I kind of like you on the motorcycle, and she was kind of trying to change the subject.
He was going to say something.
And, yeah, but he's like,
He's like,
hey.
I'd do anything for you.
Well, he cut her off because he noticed, like, it was quiet and no one was around, and that's when they ran into the X-Men.
Well, I wonder what he's trying to say. He's like, I'd do anything for you. You know what I'm trying to say to you, right?
Yeah.
What?
Try to get that dick wet.
Yeah, like what? There's a couple things he could be trying to say.
I just want to point out that Tony's mentioned Cyclops' dick twice now.
You started it.
Really didn't, and naturally.
I have it
Podcast.
recorded.
So they're not dating.
No.
So you think he's
but
asking? He could be asking, like, you want to go for Chinese later?
No.
That
'cause
cold
They,
Chinese-
no, they
that
already
cold-
have Chinese.
Well, it's gone now.
He's already called her. Well, he's going to call her his girlfriend.
Didn't even
so,
ask her.
Yeah, just decided it. But
Leadership
the
role
jet-
right there.
Yeah, but the new jet anyway is coming toward them, and he just shoots it, and she's like, "Why are you attacking them?" He's like, "Says the person who threw Wolverine at them," but she didn't. Like, they just all jumped to conclusions when she made him pop his claws. So that's another, like, weird.
It's like a metaphor.
Where's the rest of that sentence? Because, like, you said that's another, like, weird.
Yeah, thing.
Yeah.
No,
you
it's
just
like a
you just
metaphor.
you just stopped, and I was like, "Are you still talking?"
Anyway, Rachel and Kitty show up in the Hummingbird and just completely, like, knock fucking Ice Hulk's head
It
off.
ran right into him.
Which is great because they get called on it later, and they're like, he can fucking take it. So they land and they're like, you think this is cool? You think this is cool? Like, all you X-Men ganging up on two teenagers?
It's a Cyclops blasts Middle Beast in the face.
He
Like at point blank
does.
range. He would like break a neck. I'm surprised he walked away from that.
You know, they nerf his power.
He was like closer than me and you.
Yeah.
Right in the face.
Well, because he grabbed him.
Yeah.
They were like, we needed him to stop the motorcycle, and Deadpool's like, all right, got it, and he shoots the tire out, and then Middle Beast just leaps in.
It was
and
kind of like
scoops him
clotheslines
up.
them both almost.
Yeah.
But grabs them. But yeah, because it's like the power that can knock through mountains. Just blast Beast at point blank range in the face.
Yeah, well, they could be like, he made the beam weak.
And his
with
face is
visor.
made of mountains.
Can he do that though? I mean, I guess since you cut a cake with it, you can do anything if you can cut cake.
I guess.
It's a saying, right?
I've heard it.
I don't think so.
It's got to be true.
Must be.
You just said it, so I've heard
Yeah,
it
that's
before.
true. I read it on the internet.
So, anyway, Kitty and Rachel, they're like scolding all the older X-Men for being like overly aggressive, which, to be fair, the future X-Men are overly aggressive like all the time.
Yeah, I wonder why.
And Wolverine and Storm's team are just cool with it, like the whole time. Like, only Rachel and Kitty are even remotely, peeved.
Because they wanted to get rid of the young X-Men already. So, like, now they have more of a reason.
Yeah, but they did too. Like, they want them all to go back. They just want them to want to go back on their own. They want them to get to that point. I think Shadowcat even says that at one point. She's like,
Yeah.
they just need to want to go back. I don't want to force them.
But I feel like they were looking for excuses. Wolverine and Storm, like, oh, they got to go back now. These
Yeah.
guys said it. Got to go back.
Yeah, I think at one point too, Storm's like, look, we've entertained them long enough, and yes, it was great because it made us feel closer to Xavier's dream and Xavier since he's gone, and we're all mourning. Like, they kept trying to blow it off or like relegate it to everyone's in mourning about Xavier.
Yeah.
And so they're just not thinking clearly. And
Even
so
though no
like,
one said a word about
so
Xavier.
Kitty, you're not thinking clearly because you're just mourning Xavier.
I like when Kitty, because when you were saying she was chastising all the X-Men, she looks at Wolverine. She's like, and you, Wolverine. And he's got this look like he's being scolded by his mother.
He's like,
what
what did I do?
Me what?
Yeah.
I did nothing.
I didn't stab them. I mean, I only threatened to kill Cyclops, like, in 2 of the arcs previous to this.
Yeah.
And, like, the adolescent Cyclops.
He turned all of his rage towards his rap career anyway. The song Stabby Stabby.
Anyway, they this was all basically just a distraction so Jean and Scott could escape on the Hummingbird. And then they
Take it underwater.
So do you think Rachel was psychically blocking them? Because she said, I got a few tricks that...
Yeah, I think so. Because Rachel seems to be, at least what they were talking about, seems to be a little on par with the power of Zorn, Jean Grey, and Xavier. Like, she gets overwhelmed later, but, you know, she's able to resist them to a point.
Yeah.
So just enough for them to escape, and probably, like, she had young Jean help her.
I mean, she's super powerful. That's one of the powers, too, where it's like they kind of fluctuate it whenever they feel like it. Because it's been said she's stronger than Emma, but not as skilled as Emma.
Yeah. Anyway, Scott and Jean end up going to Utopia, what's left of it, and the uncanny X-Men are there. And there's just sort of like, hey, how are you?
You rang.
You rang, yeah. And so, chapter 4 is Uncanny 12, and it starts right away with Maria Hill and S.H.I.E.L.D., like they're in a helicarrier, and some S.H.I.E.L.D. agent is saying that they're picking up signs on their, like, temporal displacement division, that there's more shifts in the space-time and what have you, like whatever that jargon is.
Yeah, and it always comes from the same damn place.
Yeah, and so Maria Hill is like, fucking Henry McCoy, that piece of shit. And she's just like angry and yelling about how much she hates Henry. And Mystique, which is pretending to be Dazzler, is like, how do you know it's him? He's like, it's always fucking him.
Yeah, we should have her on the podcast.
Mystique or Dazzler?
Both.
Maria Hill.
Oh, Maria.
She shares the same opinion about Hank.
Yeah.
It was funny, though, she calls her Agent Dazzler. It's like Blair.
Yeah, Blair. And he's like ignoring her, and he's like, Agent Blair. So I thought that was funny.
Which is funny, just to call somebody Agent Dazzler.
Yeah, but I think I found it more funny because obviously Mystique wouldn't care, but she would like to interrupt Maria Hill's rant. So just sort of like those quick jabs.
Because it's like when you're not somebody else. I mean, I guess it's, it's like trolling on the internet.
Yeah.
She's not really Dazzler. Anything she does, she's not getting blamed for it. So she can just be a dick to Maria Hill.
So anyway, the Uncanny team actually turns out to be pretty torn on what to do with Scott and Jean, because now they like, oh, so you wanted help, but now we're here, and you're saying you don't want to go back in time because the people who came from the future to tell you have to go back in time, you didn't trust them? And like, because even Jean, like, saying it out loud to them, it seems like she's not exactly confident in what she's saying. It sort of seemed like, well, they were blocking their thoughts from me, so that's shady, right? And the Cuckoos were like, definitely. Anybody who, like, stops you from reading their mind, they can't be trusted. And Scott's like, yeah, well, I mean, they might have had reasons. They might have, like, not wanted you to see something terrible.
Time travel and whatnot.
And that's part of what's dumb about this, is that technically there is a rational way to look at them blocking their thoughts initially. And there's, like, the fact that we all know that they're actually kind of villains. So
Whoa!
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. So, like,
The listener didn't know.
That influences... Come on.
They
Look
did.
at that team. Look at that team.
Doug's calling you out. If you didn't know that, you're stupid.
They're just listening to us. They're not even looking at that team.
They let Deadpool on it.
They let... Exactly.
And Beast. Beast is known
Beast is
villain.
clear.
Look at
Clearly
that
a
team.
villain.
And he looks the villainiest version of Beast, basically.
Some
Until
people,
Dark Beast gets spider legs, this is the most villainy Beast.
Also Xavier.
it wasn't a giveaway for me because they
Exactly.
got Kitty Pryde.
Xavier's on the team.
Kitty Pryde and Molly Hayes kind of made me think otherwise when I first read it.
I just think there are so many red flags.
Oh, there's definitely red flags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jean and Zorn's mask.
Oh yeah, Jean sounded. I mean, Jean Grey's always like super nice though.
Is she?
Zorn. But
Yeah.
it's not Jean Grey. It's
I
Zorn.
feel like every time that Jean Grey is shown, she's brutally psychically attacking somebody.
Young Jean.
Oftentimes.
No, well, I'm talking about like new X-Men when she does it to Emma and like scars her for life.
Wasn't she Phoenix at that point though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
but
it was still Jean. She just had the Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what they also.
Did they all say it was Jean? She just had the Phoenix?
They all blame the Phoenix, except when it comes to Cyclops, they're like, the Firebird had nothing to do with that.
No, he still blamed the Phoenix.
He did, but everybody else is like,
It was his
that's no
mistake, though. It
excuse.
wasn't me.
You're
It
not
was the giant
Gene.
Cosmic Firebird.
Yeah, they put the blame on Cyclops.
Yeah. So ultimately, though, Scott's like, all right, we're going to help them. And then Emma and Magneto are like, whoa. What? How is that smart? They need to go back in time. All of space and time are like in the balance here. Like,
Dangered.
yes, exactly. They are endangered. So also magic just disappears on them. She's hearing all this and she's just like, oh, gotta go.
I mean, she didn't just disappear. She excused herself.
Well, she does say that, oh, that's definitely Xavier's grandson, and then leaves. So she
She
leaves
says
with even
I've
more
met them
questions.
before.
Yeah.
She's like, because I've met them before. If you'll excuse me. She does literally
Yeah,
excuse herself and then
yeah.
disappears.
And
I like
Sc-
how Scott...
And Fire
and-
Dragon
yeah.
warped away.
And Scott's like, did anyone read her mind real quick before she left? Because we could use some exposition here.
It's very scary there.
I like
Yeah.
that she just... Or he knows that she just does whatever. He's like, I have no idea where she's going, when she'll be back.
It's a free roaming
Nothing.
bus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, but the fire dragon and stuff, that's because she embodies all of Limbo.
yeah. And they,
But what a great way to teleport away.
Yeah.
To subtly be like, excuse me, and then a fire dragon.
I like how the Cuckoos said, yeah, they're not going to read her mind. Like, it's scary there.
Yeah. And so Emma, irritated that Jean, well, she is irritated Jean's there, but that Scott's choosing to help Jean and his younger self. She kind of tears into Scott quite a bit, where she's like, you're just thinking with your dick, which, ill.
No, you're bringing up his dick.
Well,
she
Emma
says
does, yeah. And then it's like a weird she blazes them, and then the Cuckoos are like, "Ooh, you're savage."
Oh, sit burn.
She's got a bunch of Flava Flavs behind her.
Yeah, and she even says that and of course the only thing you like more than Jean is yourself.
Yeah, he's like, now you got a 2-for-1 here.
Yeah,
A threesome with young Jean and yourself.
and then Magneto's all like, "Okay, so she's being rude, but also
She's right.
What a good idea.
Yeah, because Magneto is basically agreeing too. Like you're not thinking clearly.
yeah." And then Zorn shows up. The future X-Men, they all show up and stuff, and it's because Emma invited them to come because she disagrees with Scott. So she's like, no, they got to go back in time. So even they have a rift within their group.
Yeah, I like that regular Kitty is arguing with Kate, and Kate's like, oh, I'm sorry, I used to be like that. And Deadpool's like, I used to think I was in a comic book, so,
Yeah, that was funny.
shit happens.
Yeah, Deadpool does have great lines.
Yeah, they very rarely have him speak in this, but almost every line is awesome.
Yeah. And then Chapter 5, Wolverine and the X-Men, issue 36. And it starts with both Scotts are just standing there, not knowing what to do because there's a psychic battle going on.
Oh yeah, because chapter 4 ends with Emma and the Cuckoos realizing it's Jean in the Zorn mask, and they kind of want to fight.
Yeah, because she didn't know she was inviting Jean Grey to come and save the day. So as soon as she learns that it's Jean, she's like, "Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
No, you can't take them
because she
we
was
want to beat
gonna
the shit out of you."
attack young Jean. She's like, "Why don't you fight me instead?" Which
Yeah.
I don't know why she would do that because her powers are broken. But
Just any chance to
What's
slap
boosted?
around Jean.
Yeah, and she's boosted with the Cuckoos.
yeah, she got the Cuckoos.
That'd be an awesome album name for a late 80s band.
Boosted by the Cuckoos, or she's got the Cuckoos?
She's got the Cuckoos would be 50s, and then I think maybe 70s would be boosted with the Cuckoos.
Okay. So anyway, younger Scott's like, I feel like we should be doing something, and older Scott's like, yeah, we will be fighting soon. Also, do you notice that's Jean? He's like, how do you know it's Jean? Jean told me, how to read minds, but not really. That was a weird thing too. Is how do you, if you're not psychic, still can kind of read minds?
I think he's able to sense, kind of like how they're able to block people even though they're not psychic. Not fully block people, but they have some sort of psychic defenses
Okay.
taught to them.
Yeah. And it's just you're watching the 5 of them just stand facing each other, but then they show it's in psychic lines. It's younger Jean, Emma, and the 3 Cuckoos are all in red fire kind of looking energy, fighting Zorn Jean, who's like in a blue fire energy.
Yeah, and Wolverine gets blasted yet again by young Cyclops.
Yeah, well, because it's still the whole argument. Well, first, older Scott and Logan are having a conversation where Logan's like, so are you serious with this team? Your students, like, if they were any greener, they'd glow in the dark. Like, and you're going to bring them to something like this? And he's like, I was just answering a call to help somebody. I wasn't expecting a full-on fight to bring, like, you know, seasoned warrior, you know, X-Men or anything. Like, they just, like, they're our students. They come along with us. But, like, I see what, like, how responsible you are handling my younger self and my team.
Technically, they brought the fight to them.
Yeah.
And he's like, how dare you bring these kids to a fight? And they went there to fight the kids.
Yeah. He's like, how's this making sense again?
we weren't trying to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because young Scott wants to get in there and stop the psychic battle, and old Scott's saying, don't worry, our battle will come.
Yeah.
Which he says when Wolverine shows up and starts talking smack.
Yeah, he calls him Slim and Slimmer.
Yeah.
Sick burn.
The sick burns are off the charts in this.
So, anyway, younger Scott, like you said, he gets tired of hearing Wolverine and just blasts the shit out of him, and then that starts the whole fight between the X-Men there.
The physical battle.
Yeah.
Because he said, stop talking to us like we're children. Because it would suck because he's just sitting there listening to two people kind of talk about the fate of his life
Yeah.
while he just sits on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like, you know, when you're like, you'd be pissed off when you're a little kid and your mom would be talking to people on the phone about how mad you are. You're like,
About
shut
how
up!
Shitty you did on your homework.
Yeah.
And you didn't like your grounding.
It's like that, but with destiny.
Meanwhile, the fight between Jean and the others, Jean, like, beats the shit out of Emma and the Cuckoos, and then it's just her and her younger self.
See, this didn't make sense because Emma's powers are broken, and she knocks the Cuckoos out before Emma, which together the Cuckoos should be pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think that's just a lack of attention to detail, because Bendis isn't writing this one.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was some garbage.
Yeah.
I forgot her powers were broken, and I was mad at Emma losing like that, but I was like, oh yeah, her powers are broken. Because Emma full-powered with the Cuckoos should be winning this.
Well, no, not necessarily, right? Because this is what I'm saying really doesn't make sense about this whole future Jean thing. She introduces herself early on and says, my powers have gotten to such a high level that I need to have this mask on to help contain them. So then she definitely must be stronger than her younger self, which is sort of supported by the fact that her younger self has to then use the help of Emma and the Cuckoos to fight Jean. So now you have sort of a stalemate of power because you have these 4 powerful psychics against 1 very powerful psychic. But then that very powerful psychic beats the Cuckoos and Emma, and I think, you know, you just go in that degree of progression because that writers assumed the Cuckoos are all weaker than Emma, and Emma's a more prominent character anyway, so she would have to go down second. And they even made, like, the one Cuckoo that was standing out, like, she went down first. Irma, right? Is the one who dyed her hair?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was like, brunette out of the way, now just the blondes to go. And if you think that the Cuckoo's powers are mainly in tandem with each other, they've just gotten weaker, so they are maybe weaker than Emma. Because I think maybe on an individual basis, too, each Cuckoo is weaker than Emma. But together
Currently?
they're stronger. I just mean in general.
In
I
general.
think what the writer might be thinking with these characters, and then, like you
I don't
said,
even
forgetting that her powers are broken.
If her powers aren't broken, I don't think the 3 Cuckoos are stronger than Emma.
Together?
Together.
No, that was established early on.
Yeah.
When they found out her powers were broken and that they could toy with her, because they wouldn't have bothered.
They wouldn't have been able to do that in the
Yeah.
past.
Either way, it established that she's so much stronger than younger Jean out of all this. But then it becomes a one-on-one battle with younger Jean, and younger Jean's holding her own. So you're like, okay, maybe she's just digging deep now to hold her own. But then she wins. And it's like, and then older Jean cops out saying, oh, I forgot how much more powerful I was when I was younger. Okay, now you lost me. Because you said that she got more powerful than she was, but then she faces herself and went like, nah, I was lying.
Well, it already didn't make sense because it's been established a couple times they've had the Cuckoos talking crap to young Jean or about her. Yeah. And they're like, well, she's not as strong yet. She's still learning her powers.
Yeah.
But the Cuckoos go out immediately after they've been this, like, trained and stuff. Compared to Jean Grey.
I can believe that if this is, like, the moment that she's getting more powerful. So I'm saying I can follow it to a certain point. For me, it was the sudden switch back of, like, oh, no, never mind.
She's not more powerful.
Older Jean just confessed that younger Jean was more powerful.
But it's expertise, too. Like, this is the first time Jean has ever been in a battle like this, young Jean.
Yeah.
So she's got zero expertise.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. This is the one thing that, like, just stuck out to me, like, how the fuck did that happen? But anyway, while the psychic battle's going on, because technically at this point, she just, older Jean took out Emma and the Cuckoos, and it's now one-on-one between two Jeans. Ice Hulk goes crazy and actually, like, tries to kill Scott, because while they're fighting, like, it's sort of implied that they're still pulling punches between all the X-Men. Like, they want to beat each other but not, like, maim or kill each other. But everyone's like, holy shit, Ice Hulk is going way too far. And then the actual X-Men, like Wolverine and the current Iceman, is trying to stop the Ice Hulk. Like, you guys can't control this thing? What is going on? And then Magic shows up where Beast and young Iceman are, because they're still back at the mansion babysitting Shogo. And she's like, I need you guys to come with me to the future. Because Beast is trying to he's researching the future, trying to figure out, like, okay, maybe something wasn't quite right with that group. Because now that he's not enamored by himself in the room,
yeah,
he's thinking a little more clearly. So just as he's doing that,
he's probably researching himself.
You know what? Maybe. No, I think he was, because you can't really do that. I think he's comparing and contrasting all the past adventures that the X-Men have had with future versions.
I assumed he was just rating, like, Beast logs. So going through and, like, because, you know, Beast logs every mission that they do and describes it.
But he's not necessarily part of each mission.
No, but...
But, I mean, there's Days of Future Past stuff. There's Cable stuff. There's, what's his face? Bishop stuff. Like, there are plenty of characters who come from future shit and alternate timelines.
Rachel, too.
That they may have documented.
Yeah, they'd probably sit down and have a long conversation with them.
Because that, like you said
Isn't
before...
Bishop, too?
No.
No, that's just
the
that's a
animation.
cartoon.
That's the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But Rachel was with Franklin Richards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she even brings up, like you said, to that version of Kitty Pryde who came back with that future X-Men, like, you know, you're nothing like the Kate I knew.
You know, you dress just like her.
Yeah. Just like her.
Well, real quick, we skipped a line that I've probably brought up on here like 4 or 5 times.
So let's get it again.
Well, because now it's the book. Now it's actually the book. It'd be weird if I brought it up in other ones and not the book we read it in. But Deadpool's questioning whether Scott's new class of X-Men are actually like the real X-Men. He's like, who are these kids anyway? They must not grow up to be the X-Men because I've never heard of any of... Wait a second. Is that Goldballs? Dude, you're a fucking legend. And he asked for his autograph.
Yeah, and that moment felt bigger to me over time, but then going back and reading the book, it really is just sort of like a random panel that they threw in. Because every once in a while, they got to remember that they have these new mutants that Bendis created.
Well, Goldballs become such an icon later that the moment gets inflated.
Yeah, anyway, Magic then talks Beast and Iceman into going with her to the future so she can show them what she found. And so they just give Shogo to Brew, which, you know, is just kind of funny because it's like a really evil-looking alien just now taking care of a baby. And really sweet guy, too, Brew.
Yeah, the baby's crying.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah, he looks scary.
And then Jean beats Jean, and Deadpool then has this grand speech where he gets everyone to sort of calm down because of all the fighting.
Well, Jean reads Jean's mind when she beats her.
Yeah.
To see what's going on in the future.
Yeah. Because that's the big thing looming is that they just won't let them know what's happening in the future. And that's another kind of dumb thing. If they just would have told them what happens in the future, none of the fighting would take place. But, of course, they can't just tell them because
well, the whole premise is dumb. Well, because it's like, oh, you can't know about the future because it's going to screw up your timeline, even though you're in the future seeing stuff that you shouldn't be seeing.
Yes, and even though it's already established that as soon as you go back in time, Professor Xavier's just going to wipe all your memories,
Yeah.
So why would knowing anything from further in the future matter? Like, that's the thing that I can't get past is like, wait, but they've already seen too much. What's a little bit more of something that is going to be erased, right? Because the future X-Men want their timeline to be changed, theoretically. Because otherwise, why do they come back to stop them from doing what they're doing? If anything, they just established that the fact that the young X-Men stay in the present doesn't end the world. Like, existence keeps going.
Yeah. I think, well, that's what Jean
Not so bad.
They don't believe that crap. From the new future X-Men or whatever.
Well, Jean and Scott don't believe that crap.
Yeah.
Everyone else buys right into it. So, anyway, Deadpool gives a speech, and like you said, Jean reads her older self's mind and sees whatever it is that she was too scared to show her. And she goes to Scott and is like, all right, we're done. We're going back. And fucking Angel's like, finally! Like, I've been trying to get you guys to be on my side about this.
I like that Deadpool's gun, just got to point out, his scope, or his light is taped onto his gun. No rails on that gun. That thing is just
Because it's apocalyptic, man.
taped.
Like, they don't even have, like...
It looks like bandage
working.
tape, too.
Yeah.
That perfectly describes Deadpool, though, just like taking something that could fly off the handle at any moment and just putting a Band-Aid on it.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, Wolverine comes up to Deadpool and he's like, hey, I don't normally compliment you on things, but thanks for giving that speech. It was one heck of a speech.
So they're not going to start now.
And then he walks away. But while he's still in earshot, Deadpool's like, yeah, it was a pretty great speech. Too bad it was all a lie.
So before we go any further, we have a reenactment that we're going to play for you guys again. I just wanted to say thank you to Carla Mack and Chris Stevens. They helped us out with the voices of Jean Grey and Magneto. Carla Mack, you can find her at Carla_Mack for her Twitter. And Craig Stevens, you can find him at Foolish Critter and at The Foolish Critter for Twitter and Instagram. We could not have made this without them, so I wanted to say thank you to them for helping us out with this. And Carla has even got some really cool stuff that she's done. She's done Lost Legends of Redwall. She played two different characters on that. And she also played Abigail Pike in Cold Open Stories Warhammer 40K audio drama When All the Lights Have Gone Out. So yeah, go check those guys out.
You are old and broken, Zorn, and you are going home, not me. God, I forget how strong I used to be. No, you have no idea what you're doing by staying. All the people you are damning. Yourself most of all. Please, Jean, don't do this. What happens in the future? I want to know. You can't. It's too dangerous for you to even...
You came back in time to beat up your teenage self. Don't lecture me on the dangers of knowing your future. Show me what happens that's so terrible. Show me the future.
Oh no. Oh my God.
Stop! For God's sake, stop trying to kill each other. All this fighting, it's too much. Even for me. I can't do this anymore. You want to know how screwed up things are in the future? Open your eyes. It's so screwed up, they made me an X-Man. So screwed up, we had no choice but to travel back through time and try to change history. You guys don't want our future, believe me. Some of you really don't want our future. It's not like the old days, when we were always laughing. Remember? Or at least I was laughing. Nobody laughs in the future. Must be all of the funerals. The future sucks. If you guys are just gonna make us go back there, then I guess I quit. My healing factor ain't what it used to be, so I think this might actually kill me. God, I hope so. Bury me in chimichangas.
Wait!
Oh, come on! That was gonna be an awesome death scene!
No one's dying here today. We're all going back where we belong.
All of us? Jean,
What are you?
They're right, Scott. I'm sorry. You don't belong here.
This is them controlling you. You don't mean this.
I do.
Then tell me why. What happened? What did you see?
Scott, do you trust me?
Of course I do.
Then trust me when I tell you it's time to go home.
We're not letting this go, are we?
What do you think?
I think they're absolutely right. I think those kids have no business being here.
They remind you of what a bastard used to be? Is that it?
Maybe I just think your judgment should always be called into question whenever there's a pretty girl with red hair involved.
Maybe so. At least this time I got to say goodbye.
Can't believe I'm saying this. Thanks for speaking up back there, Wade. That was some speech. Yeah, sure. No sweat. I just hope we can set things right for you. Yeah, me too, Chief. It was a nice speech, wasn't it? It's almost a shame it was all a lie.
And then it shows the future that Magic takes Young Beast and Bobby into, and it's the Xavier School, and everything looks great, and they meet the X-Men.
Like utopian, kind of.
Yeah.
Like it looks nice and futuristic. And I'd like to point out, because now that we're going back, I noticed there's Sentinels there that stop them, and they're like, oh shit, Sentinels. But the Sentinels work for the X-Men, it looks like. And then on that first issue, when Magic's in the future, you see those future X-Men, the bad ones, fighting Sentinels. And the Sentinels are working for the good X-Men.
Yes, which is a fantastic point, actually.
Now that we figured it out.
Yeah.
Also, just want to point out a little bit that Deadpool, his glasses are those lenses that like change depending on whether or not like the amount of sunlight that's, because they're completely see-through, and then he ducks his head a little bit, and then they're sunglasses.
Oh, nice. So they're prescription glasses?
Yeah.
And so the X-Men team that you see at the end is Quentin Quire with the Phoenix, Colossus with Magic's sword,
And a big mustache.
and a big Van Dyke mustache, like the ones that goes down with like fucking handlebars, and Iceman as a wizard,
Yeah, Ice Wizard.
and
Badass.
then the other ones I'm not quite certain of. I know Shogo is technically the Iron Man looking one.
And yeah, because they keep calling him a human. He's got no
And-
powers. And you got, looks like Storm and Black Panther's kid?
Yeah,
I assume?
Storm and Black Panther's kid, I'm pretty sure. I'm just not sure.
That looks like Psylocke and Wolverine's kid.
Right? Or it could be related to Jubilee somehow. Like, that one's, like, just vague.
Well, because she's got the kind of weird lightning bolt thing on the face that Psylocke wore for a while. And
Yeah.
she's also got the psychic
Wolverine
knife,
claws.
but it's a psychic Wolverine claw.
But then she's got glasses that are really Jubilee-ish. And looks like she's Asian.
It was a
Which
three-
could also be a Psylocke
It was a
thing.
threesome at that time.
Yeah.
That's how kids are made,
All
right?
she inherited was the glasses.
And then a guy who looks like if Sunfire and Cloak had a baby.
Maybe Magma.
Yeah, that makes more sense since they're both dudes.
I like the part though of him that's like takes after Cloak is not having a body. It's just being a disembodied head.
Yeah, just a big old cloak. Yeah, that's the first half of Battle of the Atom.
Yeah, that was this part of Battle of the Atom.
That was this part of Battle of the Atom.
I think
I figured I have to add
Thank
it
you
in
for
there, too.
continuing the loop. Yeah.
so. Yeah, we got T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, and stuff.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the baby onesie? I know you like those.
I thought you were going to go through the list. There's a onesie.
I was. We would go through the list together as like a team.
Oh, okay.
But I can just go through the things we have. We have laptop cases. We have phone cases. We have pillows. And that is
Tapestries.
it. No, there's stickers and
There's gotta be
posters and
tapestries.
stuff. Yeah,
Mugs.
there's you can get a carrying bag, like a little tote bag.
Yeah.
Mugs.
Multiple sizes.
Yeah,
I know.
I like that you said carrying bag. Like, it's a bag.
carrying bag.
Yeah.
It's a carrying bag.
It's a bag that really,
Tote.
really feels for you.
It's
Yeah.
totes a bag. I'm gonna kill
Travel.
myself after this episode.
Travel mugs.
Go like the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram.
You should get a pin and wear it to work.
Yes. Everything at Mex-Men Podcast. The
They're
link to the
refrigerator magnets, I think.
No, there's not. There should be, though, now that you say that.
I think there are, actually.
Are there?
I think so. I just put one up for the graffiti on the Sun logo, and I'm pretty sure there was a refrigerator magnet.
I didn't know. I was just looking.
Yeah.
There's a sale going on, but by the time you hear this, probably be over.
But,
But there'll
probably
be a new
one.
st- yeah.
Yeah,
a new
there's
one,
always
yeah.
a new one.
Yeah, because there's always less money for us to make.
Yes.
So don't buy it at the sale.
No,
buy
buy
it.
it whenever. Jesus.
Buy one.
If you're going to buy it.
It's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Everything's at Mex-Men Podcast. The link to all of our social media and our TeePublic will be in the show notes. And that's for today.